Welcome to 15 Minutes with Dad. I want to start with gratitude because this year has been incredible. You helped this fatherhood podcast reach over 403 cities and 57 countries around the world. Listeners tune in from the United States, the UK, Singapore, and Australia, all over the globe. Your engagement, your shares, and your presence push this mission forward. You made this community a space for growth insights, emotional healing, and stronger parenting frameworks. As we enter the holiday season, there are a few ways to help keep this impact growing. Pick up my book, Man Up From Our Trauma to Being Impactful Fathers, for a father who wants mental peace, healthier habits, and stronger leadership at home. You can find it by searching on Amazon.com or visiting 15minuteswithdad.com/manup. Please take a second to go and rate and review the show. When you do this, you help us reach a broader audience that can benefit from our content as well. You could even post a reflection on social media and tag at 15 Minutes with Dad. I love to see those, and I read every single one and respond. So thank you for being a part of something meaningful. Enjoy the episode. Welcome back to the Align Father series on 15 Minutes with Dad. I am your host, Lirec. This episode, we're going to be talking about the silent partner syndrome. It's something that many fathers live in. It's a specific type of pattern where when things need to be solved, we stay quiet, or maybe we stay distant when things don't go the way that we would like them to go, or we stay in the background when things are taking place as far as holidays go. Not because we do not care, but sometimes fathers stay silent because they were trained to protect themselves and these feelings that they have, like pain. So this silence comes from childhood trauma, neglect, fear, and sometimes conditioning. And today we're going to look at it honestly. We're going to use some research. We're going to use lived experiences. We're going to talk about what silence does to our partners, to parenting teens, and to the emotional health of our overall home. So let's dive in. The silent partner syndrome, what is it? This syndrome forms in men who grew up without emotional safety. There's research from Dr. Dan Siegel that shows that children who lack attuned communication grow into adults who avoid emotional expression. Silence becomes protection. Silence becomes a habit. Silence becomes a shield. But shields block connection. Shields block opportunities for teen empowerment. Shields block healthy relationships. Many fathers stay silent because talking sometimes feels risky. They don't want to say the wrong thing. They don't want to upset the other person, or they don't want to make things worse. Sometimes talking feels like exposure. Sometimes talking feels like punishment is going to come. So this belief is rooted in our childhood trauma and neglect during early development. Silence feels safe. Connection can feel dangerous sometimes, but the family typically pays the cost. So if you take my life, for instance, when I was younger and I would get in trouble, I would be yelled at, no matter how small or big it is. I would be yelled at the same. And when I was asked, why did you do this? What did you do? What are you thinking when I didn't respond. I sat there. I typically didn't want to say the wrong thing because I didn't want to make it worse. And this thing that we develop as a child lives in adults. So at moments when you and your partner are going head to head and there's a shutdown moment to protect. And sometimes that communicate not caring or not wanting to have connections. And so how do men typically become silent partners? They become silent partners through experience, not through personality. So I talked about how it happens in the way that I grew up in a home that punished feelings almost. Your voice did not matter. And in certain generations, this was a typical way to be raised when your voice doesn't matter. They ask you a question, but it's rhetorical. It's not really for you to answer. It's just so that you know that you did something very, very wrong. So like I said, my silence becomes survival. Another way is that if you saw adults handle conflict through anger or withdrawal, so you copy the withdrawal. They shut down, they don't talk. And I learned this recently, that this is something that I do. Going through something with my teenage child, I withdrew because I was so upset and I didn't want to say anything to make it worse. And I didn't have anything good to say. It was like all these different emotions, but I just withdrew. Number 3 would be your pain was minimized or it was mocked. So if you grew up in a family where you were a wuss if you were crying or if you were sad or you're feeling an emotion, or it was minimized of, it's not that big of a deal. Why are you crying so much? You learn to protect it, to suck it up. Another way that men typically become silent partners is if you were taught that men hold everything in. The study by APA shows that boys are told to hide sadness by age 8. This becomes lifelong behavior. And the last one that would make men become silent partners is if you thought silence keeps the peace, like I did. But here's the kicker: silence builds distance in the real world. The silent partner syndrome is not a sign of strength. It's a sign of an untreated pain. So let's talk about how your silence hurts your partner. So silence is confusing for partners who like to talk it out and work through things. It feels cold. It feels dismissive. And it also feels like you don't care. But you and I can agree that the truth is different. You care deeply. You just probably never were taught to how to speak from vulnerability. You may never have been taught how to express confusion, fear, or stress. Those are complex emotions. Those aren't the happy, sad emotions. Research from the Gottman Institute shows that emotional withdrawal is one of the strongest predictors of relationship breakdown. And many people think it's infidelity. It's not fighting. It's not conflict. It's withdrawal. Those moments when your partner is requesting for you to dig in and engage on that emotional level, that's when the relationship will break down if you are not prepared. So when you stay quiet, your partner feels alone in the shared responsibilities. She feels like she now has to carry the emotional labor of the relationship. And you simply carry the silence. This is not healthy. This blocks leadership inside your home. This blocks the potential for self-improvement for both parents. And I talked about this in the provider versus partner episode. And this is a little deeper into the psyche of the man that is not bearing the emotional load of the relationship. If you have not listened to the last 3-4 episodes of the Aligned Father series, so that you can understand where we're coming from when we're talking about emotional labor. Now let's talk about how this silence hurts your kids. Like children read silence as distance. Parenting teens is especially fragile. Like teens need emotional presence, just like toddlers, just like any other child, but your teens are definitely in their stage of life where they're forming their emotional patterns based on the environment that they've grown up in. Even though it starts as a kid, but they start practicing it in teens. Teens need emotional presence. They need reflective listening. They need clear leadership. And when you stay silent, your teenager fills in the blanks. They think they disappointed you. They think they failed. They think you do not trust them. A study from Harvard Center of the Developing Child shows that consistent emotional communication from fathers is linked to higher confidence, less anxiety, and better school outcomes. Silence does not make teens strong. Presence does. Your silence teaches them to silence themselves. Your healing teaches them empowerment. So if you take, for instance, they did something wrong, and teenagers are going to make decisions based on whatever hierarchy of needs that they have. They may want to just see if they can do a thing, to prove that they can do a thing to themselves because they're getting older. And they make a mistake, and they look over to you, and you don't respond. You don't say anything to them. You don't react. You don't give them feedback on what it is that they've done. Like, if you think about it, your teenagers are counting down the time when they go off on themselves, and they're looking at this moment as, actually, he doesn't want to be around me. He doesn't love me. He doesn't trust me, because they're counting down the time that they have until they take off to go to college or to expand in their own lives. They're counting down just like we are. So each of those silent moments that you have becomes more and more intense, and more it becomes how they view you as being a person that just don't care about them. It doesn't matter how much you've done. It doesn't matter how much money you've spent, how many things you've brought them to, how many things you've gone. When it comes to this emotional side, it trumps all that. So there is high stress seasons. During holidays like Christmas, the silent partner syndrome becomes easy to miss. There's music, there are gifts, there's a big family energy, family coming into town, visiting, traveling, all of those things are taking place. But what isn't seen is that many fathers shut down more during the holidays. Old memories come back, old wounds reopen, old guilt returns, and the family sees smiles. But inside, you feel the weight of being the quiet one. You feel pressure to hold everything together. Your silence, it becomes heavier. Your family does not need a perfect season with you. They just need you. They need connection. They need presence. I put out an episode last year around the holidays to give fathers a way to be present in this time and not sit back and just watch the holidays passing by. Don't be a spectator during the holidays. Like, get involved. Do that elf on the shelf. Take ownership of something, some moment in this holiday season. For me this year, I went and bought a real Christmas tree, like a real tree. And I was like, this is actually pretty fun. We haven't decorated yet, but I let Mariah choose. I let my daughter choose. Next year, I'll let my son choose. He may choose a really tiny one that don't make sense, but we're going to make it a tradition. And that's like ways that you can connect and be present. I don't have much more time with my daughter than these next couple of years before she goes off to college and start missing Sunday meals or missing dinner time or me having a person to talk to throughout the day or fight with. I'm going to miss those times. And so having or being present in these moments will keep that connection coming back throughout their lifetime. So there's an impact of silence on your own mental health. So let's talk more about it. The silence actually wears you down. It drains mental peace. It blocks self-improvement. It keeps you in the same emotional cycle. Studies from the National Institute of Mental Health show that men who avoid emotional communication have higher rates of depression and anxiety. And when you couple that with the statistics of 80% of suicides are by men, it's not because they are weak. It's because they are isolated. The silence protects your emotions in the short term, but it destroys your well-being in the long term. So you deserve healthier habits. You deserve emotional relief. You deserve a way out. So let's break down this silent partner syndrome. Here are practical steps, clear, simple, repeatable. Step 1, let's name the silence. Tell your partner that silence is your default pattern and not your intention. Communicate with them that I'm working on this thing and I realize that this is what I do and this is how it impacts you. But it is not my intention to do that, so I'm going to work on it and actually do the work. Step 2, start small. When you communicate your feelings, try to use short sentences. You don't have to explain everything. You can try something like, I feel overwhelmed, or I need a moment. Start there. Step 3 requires a little more of you. You have to share one feeling a day. One sentence prevents withdrawal. It builds healthy habits. Your partner, your spouse, your partner, your girlfriend, your wife, or your partner is requiring to feel a connection from you on a daily basis. That's why they're with you. There's something about you that draws them near you. And we owe it to them and to ourselves to connect with them, whether it's one sentence or multiple. Give them a sentence to prevent withdrawal. Share one feeling a day. Step 4, this is going to be difficult. We're going to have to listen without defense. When your partner gives feedback, don't listen to respond. Listen to actually listen. And just sit with it for a second before responding. Because listening is leadership. Your partner will feel seen if you just take that small second to just digest what they may not say it right. If you start going into, oh, you said it like you didn't, they may not be saying it right, but just look for the validity in their statement of how they are perceiving it or feeling it from you, and just take ownership of it. It doesn't mean that that's what you intended, that's the kind of man you are, or anything like that. It just simply means that, hey, love, I see you, I understand, let's work through it. Step 5, if you have teenagers, give your teenager presents. Ask one real question and just listen. Give them door openers. Don't even respond. If they, create a space where your teenager can come to you and talk to you about things and you not pry it through them. And I'm learning this. This is something I'm actually learning in real time. You can ask one real question. It doesn't have to be a lecture. It doesn't have to be a rule, but a question that could build connection. What is a high in your day to day? Something simple as that. Step 6, do one act of engagement. Help with homework, cook a meal, join a conversation. Small steps can break the silence. When you come home from work and you're completely exhausted, hop to it. Get involved. Like, yeah, you worked hard. That's required of us. But you also decided to create a family. You're also responsible for your family and the growth and well-being of your family, not just to provide for them, but to be involved with them. They need a father. A father is more than just a provider and a person that's there to financially say, I'm responsible for these people, but you're also responsible for them emotionally. Regardless on what statistics have said over the years of they say that men aren't emotional beings. It's not by design, it's by choice. Men have emotional receptors as well, just as a woman does. Emotions is a human thing, not just a woman thing. We, as men, have kind of neglected it and relied on other instinctual parts of being human to survive. We no longer have those things. So what do we offer now? So step 7 is a big part of your change and your growth. Seek support. Look into parenting experts, therapy, and fatherhood communities that help fathers heal. There's no shame in needing support. There's groups on Facebook for single dads, stepdads, black dads, white dads. There's eons of groups on social media. You are human and you matter. Brother, the silent partner syndrome is not who you are. It is who you learn to be. Silence protected you once. Connection will protect you now. Your family does not need a quiet provider. Your family needs an aligned father, a present father, a father who is willing to grow, a father who is willing to speak with honesty and vulnerability. Keep growing, keep aligning. Your healing is the start of generational healing inside of your home. Thank you for listening and for helping 15 Minutes with Dad grow across 403 cities and 57 countries. That's wild. Your support built a global space for family empowerment, co-parenting tips, empathetic parenting, and personal insights for men who want to lead with presence in their family. If this episode helped you, rate the show. Share what you've tried and how it shaped your week. Tag at 15 Minutes with Dad on any social media platforms so we can highlight your growth and keep building this parenting community. During the holiday season, make sure you pick up Man Up From Our Trauma to Being Impactful Fathers. It's available on Amazon, or you can go and find it at 15minuteswithdad.com/man up for yourself or for someone who wants emotional strength and direction to work through their trauma to be an impactful father. Your support keeps this movement alive. So I'll see you on the next episode.